So this is about streaming, yeah. Auto 3D, let's say we are working on the streaming technology already for many years, yeah, and we are coming on the market very soon with something which is, let's say, will be pretty shocking, yeah, because the experience that you get from Auto 3D, we can bring this live, yeah. Now there was a very interesting event, which was the first ever, let's say, event on this kind of level, yeah, which was in Tokyo, by the way, yeah. This was the first time that discrete 3D audio, yeah, with a live performance was streamed over IP, so over standard internet, yeah. This test was done together with Wow and NTT in October in Japan, yeah. So the idea was, you see on the left side, that was just two instruments, like a live pianist and percussion. These are very sensitive instruments, by the way, for any kind of codec. Yeah, there's a lot of transient information in this, and there's always like very tricky in transient codecs. Yeah, so they used very critical instruments, and that was streamed just over standard internet to Belgium, which is a far distance. Yeah, to give you an idea, the latency to get there was only like 1 minute already from the live for a live performance. Yeah, now there were like 300 guests into that hall. Yeah, and yeah, so they were there and they were listening there at the same time, and in the foyer there was a setup where they could hear the streamed result. Yeah. But the idea was that they were doing this not only in the foyer, but as well to about 100 households in Japan. So 100 households in Japan having installed the Auto 3D system, yeah, were hearing it as well, yeah, to check. It was like just a check to see everything is fluently from a technical point of view. And at the same time, it was distributed as well to our soundbar. Auto Technologies has developed a new soundbar, and all people that I hear, let's say even our competitors, they all say this is the best soundbar ever. Due to COVID, it was not able to get it last year on the market, but probably it comes, let's say, by the end of this year, beginning next year, I think, on the market, which is really stunning. It's not so expensive, but you really have almost the same feeling like you hear like 10 or 12 speakers around your head. It's the best virtualization technology that I think is existing on the planet. Yeah. So this was a test in many ways. Yeah. Now, what happened is at the playback, yeah. So in this concert hall at the foyer, there was an Auto 9.1 setup where the journalists and let's say the people in the room, they could walk and check the live sound compared to the reproduced sound. Yeah. And the most stunning part was the fact that people were so shocked how good it was translating the sound from the hall into, let's say, in that reproduction environment. But even more, most of the visitors, they said, I prefer the stream sound, because the microphones where they're positioned, they pick up so much more detail, which I cannot hear where I'm sitting in the hall. The microphones, they have that kind of sweet spot experience. There are only like a few seats in the hall where you can have that same experience. Yeah. Now what you were hearing was exactly a PCM quality. It's exactly the same quality that you can hear from a Blu-ray disc, yeah. But you can hear it then with 2K picture. So Japan is in the second pass of this year. So by the end of the year, they will run out program already with this in Japan. Yeah. So this was the concept. One concept. Over IP to a cinema theater, to a home, and to soundbars, and compare the experience with the live experience. Yeah.
And how many microphones were used there?
It was only 9 microphones.
Okay.
So 9 microphones to mimic a Oro 9.1.
Exactly. Yeah. So and Reiji Asakura, he was there. It's one of the famous journalists in the world, and he wrote that quote even on Yahoo.com. Yeah, and he said this experience was for me so groundbreaking. He compared it with the gramophone from Edison. He said this was so groundbreaking. This is like what it can do. It can bring a concert hall to a home, and you have really the feeling you are there. Yeah, so for him it was a groundbreaking experience. And this is like the first one, yeah. So we have, let's say, we are coming with some special technology that can bring streaming to a completely different level than what you used to hear now. for, let's say, and this was only with a bandwidth for audio for 3 megabit per second, and which normally all people can have, yeah. And we are coming with, let's say, a similar experience with about 10 times less, with about 384 kilobit per second. You have a fully transparent audio quality.
So I think it was last time we were talking about this image here.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is accurate, but we're kind of making fun. We're like, oh, there's no sweets. Where's the center chair? I don't know if you tuned into that, but some of the things that the criticisms were like, okay, well, if this is optimal, the speaker looks like it's kind of close to the ceiling, and so we're gonna get some weird stuff happening with the the reflection off the ceiling with it pointed forward versus, let's say, down. You're kind of increasing the angle from, let's say, the tweeter compared to if it is facing down. So
yeah, the point is like you're hitting a few topics here, Jenna. Yeah. So the point is, let's say, how to bring the speakers up. Yeah. If you have them closer to the ceiling, you might have, let's say, all these kind of things with reflections and things coming from the ceiling. But even if you put them from the top down, yeah, you have other problems as well. Yeah. One of the things I was looking into my research is the fact that you need 3 different layers to reproduce natural sound. Yeah, you cannot reproduce it with 2 layers only. Yeah, and if you have 2 layers only, you better let's say use them, let's say, in the place where most of the 3D reflections and their source sounds, yeah, are coming from, and these are, let's say, between 0 and 30 degrees. The moment when you're going much higher, you lose, in fact, the vertical coherence. Yeah. Now, an interesting thing is, of course, there's always place above the corner speakers of a 5.1 setup. Yeah. Now, in this, I don't know. Yeah, this picture comes from a plugin, in fact, because this is not, in fact, the description of how it being installed. Normally, this left and right speaker you have there should be a little bit more, let's say, closer to that screen. Yeah. So you have, let's say, more like in fact, this is like a circle-based 5.1 setup, but that's one remark I have here. And additionally, let's say the height speakers, yeah, they have to be a little bit tilted. What I see often as well, that people tilt the height speakers exactly to your ears. Yeah. Now, what I found is that the moment when you tilt your height speakers, that they're crossing a little bit above your head, like 2 feet or something above your head. Yeah, you have more that spatial reflections, which is coming closer to that natural way of hearing. Yeah, it sounds for a lot of technical guys is but Luffy, then you are not on axis, so that you have a color, of course, of your let's say not being on axis as a different color, but that color is not really so much big difference. A bigger difference is the moment when you angle them too big, it gives not that kind of same spatial environment, spatial feel. So that's something which I think it's very interesting to understand about. Yeah. Another thing, what you are asking me as well, if let's say, if you have the speakers, yeah, that's one of the things interesting to talk to as well, is, let's say, with object-based sounds in a very big hall, yeah, you have a completely different kind of concept that you have to follow compared to what you have, let's say, in a small room. Yeah. In a large room, yeah, if you want to have objects going all around, all the speakers has to be, let's say, converted to one place. Let me check if I can.